In this video, I'm going to tell you about the good things about being deaf, so you'll stop telling me that you will hurt yourself or worse if you were ever deaf. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am a deaf person named Rikki, and I just want to say that there are a few good things about being deaf. There are a few good perks about this. Really, I promise. I actually did a video on perks of being deaf and hard of hearing a couple years ago, and that video did really well, so I thought maybe we should just update it a little bit. I have a few benefits of my own to share, and then I also took it to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, asked you, and so I'm going to share some of your answers. Number 1, you don't have to answer phone calls or unsolicited visitors at the door. Now, we have the technology to be able to answer phone calls, and we can do VRS. Apple has TTY software, but you still don't really have to answer random phone calls if you really don't want to. Don't have to answer the telemarketers because you're not going to be able to understand them. I sure won't, so I don't have to deal with it. Every single phone call I get, hang up, done. And with random visitors at your door, you might be able to feel the knocking. You might have a flashing doorbell that alerts you when somebody comes to the door. But most of the time, these people don't come with interpreters, which I get, because most people that you come across probably are not going to be deaf, so you probably wouldn't want to lug around an interpreter. And sometimes these people just also don't want to really communicate back and forth with pen and paper. Admittedly, I have answered some doors before, kind of on accident, and it was very awkward, and I was just like, no thank you, and I closed the door. And I don't have to answer the Jehovah's Witnesses. Although once upon a time, deaf Jehovah's Witnesses came to my door. Somehow they found out about me. I think I know who told them. I know I have a friend who got so sick of unsolicited visitors coming to his door with no interpreters or anything, and it was always the same people, that he finally just put a sign on his door that said, if you don't have an interpreter, don't knock on my door, and they stopped coming. Number 2, you can easily find peace and quiet. So if you're wearing a cochlear implant or a hearing aid, you can turn those off easily. If you have some residual hearing left, you could probably just put in some earphones if you don't have any assistive hearing devices, or simply move to another room, a different area, and it's just really nice. Or if you don't have any of those and you are very profoundly deaf and really can't hear most things, well, no effort required on your part. Number 3, and this is kind of multiple things. 1, you can eat and talk at the same time, so you're just signing instead of talking out loud, and you don't have to worry about drink and food spilling out of your mouth, and it doesn't really look rude either, because for the most part, your mouth is staying closed, and all you have to do is move your hands. It is beautiful. The only time that this doesn't really work, from my experience, is when you're eating tacos, because tacos require your hands, and, you know. I mean, you can hold a burrito in one hand and sign with one hand, but signing with one hand really requires some finesse that I don't have. So, and tacos are messy. Maybe there's an ASL taco eating master around, but that person is not me. You can communicate more easily from a distance. So you can be on opposite sides of the room and you're just signing, and unless you have bad eyesight, you're gonna be able to know what's going on. It's like if you're in high school, you could just communicate while a teacher is talking and no one's gonna hear you, and it's perfect. Also works if you have hearing roommates that are trying to sleep, you know. Also, if you know ASL and you have a sore throat, don't gotta worry about talking. Once upon a time, at a speaking engagement in Pennsylvania, and the day before I was flying out, I felt a sore throat coming. And I couldn't sign during this time. I could sign a little tiny bit, but not very much. So, once I got to Pennsylvania, my throat was a goner. I was in so much pain, it really hurt to talk, and the whole night before when I was flying in, I tried everything possible to fix it. I had a whole bunch of honey. This was before I switched to veganism. Don't yell at me. All sorts of tea and everything, and it was not going away. My pal Ben, he drove over from where he lives about 2 hours, and he even brought throat spray for me so I could use it while I was speaking. It was, beautiful. My only other option was to type out the whole presentation. I was gonna do it if I had to, but if I had been able to sign at that time, now I would be able to do it. But if you're sick, you've got work to do, that's speaking engagement, ASL's got your back. Just make sure you have an interpreter if you have hearing people in the audience that don't know any. So, and my last benefit, number 4, is community. And this was probably the most common answer from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Now, I don't have a whole lot of friends in real life, but being able to find the ASL community and having a few close-knit friends and acquaintances, it changed my life, because before I was 23, I didn't really have any of that. I felt so alone, which is really common in a lot of mainstream deaf kids. But once you find it, and once you get into it, get your feet wet, dip your toes in, it's really, really nice. You share a common thing, and you just, when you're marginalized, finding fellow marginalized people is just wonderful, because then you start to become friends more instantly that way, or at least acquaintances, and you don't feel so alone. Sometimes. I'm still alone. I'm so lonely. But anyway, now I asked you, because I wanted you to get involved in this video as well. So let's read some stuff. From Instagram, you don't have to listen to everyone. Sure, like I said, you can just go away. You get to lie and say that you didn't hear them. But is that really a lie? I guess in some cases, yes, depending on how much residual hearing you have, but is that really a lie? A full night's sleep uninterrupted by sounds that wake hearing people up. Very true. No birds to deal with. Lawnmowers, unless somebody is really stomping around or dropping stuff, you're not really gonna get startled. Not hearing my fiance snoring, a general lack of irritating sounds. I like that, because snoring can be a very irritating sound to hear. I unfortunately don't think I quite have that privilege yet. It is very, very muffled for me, but still pick it up every once in a while. And on Twitter, providing a unique perspective to the world. That is true. Everybody on this planet is already different, but being deaf brings a whole new perspective, and yeah. Boosting the volume to max and feeling like you have super hearing. As someone who has had to turn her radio up all the way, I can say yes to that. Can't really hear it so much anymore, but my friend Joe, who is deaf, has a really good stereo and bass system in his car, and when he and Katrina picked me up for an event, it was so loud with the bass and everything. I was just like, holy crap, I think I'm hearing again. Being bilingual and bicultural. This is true. Now, this isn't automatically true, because not all deaf people sign, but if you do get that privilege to have both ASL and English in your life, that's good. Everybody loves a bilingual, multilingual person. And then Facebook, if it would load. Being able to lip read other people's conversations. Just get yourself involved in the drama and finding out all the top secret information without actually having people know that you know what's going on. If you are someone who knows how to lip read very well, I imagine that would be really, really fun. Being able to sleep through thunderstorms, and also being able to turn my hearing aids off when the school kids are screaming and shouting on the bus. I imagine this person is a bus driver for school kids. That's pretty good. It's also similar to having to hear or not having to hear screaming children on an airplane or in the store or in a restaurant, which we all know that these kids can't help it. They're very young, but it is painful. So it is nice to be able to have the option to not have to listen to that. So those are just some of the benefits of being deaf. I'd like to repeat, not a bad thing. When you do lose a sense that you've had for so long, it does take some getting used to, and it can be frightening for a little bit. This isn't to say that you need to be completely happy with it and bouncing off walls if it happens to you overnight or over a period of time, but it's not going to be the end of the world. I promise. There are going to be times when it feels kind of crappy, feels kind of lonely. It's not perfect by any means. I have those moments. Other people have those moments. It's very common with mainstream deaf people. But you got this. You got this. And these benefits, just remember those. And I think that should help you. Hopefully. Let it help you. If you would like to help translate this video, I will have a translation link down below. Always helps out. Very much appreciate it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.